Next up, we have Heather and Tanya from the Process Advisor and Process Insights team joining us today. Process Advisor is an important Power Platform component, and it's the next evolution in helping our organizations streamline how they work with process mining. It allows you to gain better understanding of how your business processes work so you can optimize them. And today, we're going to get an overview of how you can simplify the way you work by discovering bottlenecks in the process, any opportunities for automation, and all of that using the process and task mining capability in Power Automate. Tanya, it's all yours.
I'm a product manager on Process Insights. So I will show you now what me, Heather, and few of my other co-workers are building right now. And, share my desktop and my presentation. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
All right. So today's agenda, we have 4 things to talk about. So I'll just give you a quick intro to Process Advisor, our current, what it can currently do in Power Automate. You'll see a demo of what's called process mining and task mining. And I know that a lot of people don't usually know what process mining and task mining is. So if you do, let me know. Otherwise, I will give intro on what that is. And also some info on our private preview. Features you can give feedback to or participate in our private preview. And you can ask questions after that. You can also ask questions during the chat. I don't see a chat, but maybe Heather can take care of the chat if there are some questions. So let's start with, I'm sorry. I just clicked the wrong button. Okay. So let's talk about what actually is the value of our work. So optimizing how you work can help empower not just yourself, but everyone in organization to make better decisions. And generally, business processes you do are also required by others in your organization. So to do this, we first need to understand how people are doing things and how processes are done, and not just how you work, but how others also work in relationship to you, so you can identify inefficiencies in your business processes. So, for example, if you're going to automate something, you first need to know what do you need to automate. How our process is currently done, so you don't automate something that's not really efficient. So that's not easy to do. So we can now take a deeper look at some of the key challenges that we encounter with business processes. So number 1 is everyone wants to be on the path to digital transformation, but digital transformation can be overwhelming because you often do not know where to start, what to prioritize, and if you are making progress towards measurable results. So without the appropriate data, you do not know where to start analyzing which workflows are the most manual or time-consuming, and ultimately you do not know where you would gain the most bang for the buck if you worked differently. So you maybe have some gut feelings on where these inefficiencies might be, but it will be hard to convince your boss if you do not have data to back that up. So the second, processes are complex, and often there are numerous unknown steps. And even if you know these steps, there are often disconnects between teams, businesses, your processes, making it almost impossible to know where to begin and what exceptions might be. And finally, number 3, we get stuck in the past patterns. So we often rely on people to define processes, but these are often not followed by everyone, or they quickly become out of date. And I know that a lot of people, when I started working on Process Advisor, it was 2020, so beginning of pandemic, and a lot of times they would say, I have no idea what people are doing now that they're working from home, what changed, what didn't change. It became much more difficult to kind of see what was out of date, who's doing changes, etc. So we have designed this Process Advisor, which is now part of Power Automate, to help navigate these challenges. So Process Advisor, here is a picture of our analytics. Process Advisor helps organizations solve these key challenges by removing the barrier between data, insights, and your processes so that you can better understand your organization's workflows and take the guesswork out of automation. So, you know, it's nice to have, oh, I have this idea, I have that idea, what to automate, but if you really know process end to end, then you don't need to guess. You can just go ahead and see where are the best opportunities for automation. So the two capabilities that we currently have are task mining, which is already GA, generally available since May, I believe, of this year. And it helps capture interactions from your desktop. So whatever people use on the desktop, it can record that and analyze and identify bottlenecks and inefficiencies. And the second one is process mining, which is my favorite. It's currently in preview. It's announced during Ignite, and it allows you to analyze business processes by connecting it to a system of records. So whatever people are using to manage their processes, applications like SAP, you can extract data from their log files and use it to get these awesome maps. Now, first, this is task mining. I'll quickly go over it so I can spend more time on process mining. So task mining captures, like I mentioned, interactions from the desktop by using a recorder. And examples of scenarios where you can apply task mining are some smaller processes like data entry, submission, or approval processes. Because there's a lot of data entries that it can help you see if there are a lot of data entries that need to happen, or maybe multiple applications are involved. Is there maybe a legacy application that must be used that you can later on use RPA, robotic process automation, to automate? So these are all good scenarios for task mining. We have a company, FarmScript, that's using this, and they're a pharmacy. They have a lot of invoice batch submission processes, very manual. And after using task mining, they were able to identify a lot of good automation opportunities and pretty much saved a lot of time throughout the day when they automated certain manual processes that they identified through task mining. So task mining uses a recorder, like I said, to capture the detailed steps of the process, works on your own, or you can invite your colleagues to contribute, because usually what you want to gain out of task mining is to see how different people are performing the same task. So you can find variations, you can find what is the most efficient process, which one takes longer, which takes which one's slower path to finish the same process. Then we have a process map, which is fantastic. You noticed a picture of it later. We can go in details later. You can, with it, you can find opportunities to automate by seeing end-to-end visualization And automation recommendations, we have certain places where we indicate on the map which are the good automation opportunities on using the data that it was recorded. ALM, so application lifecycle management. You can manage life cycle of your processes, including governance, development, maintenance. We have application analytics. Application analytics show you which applications teams spend the most time in and highlight the best activities to optimize. So how does task mining work? You can see here a nice GIF. You can start by finding which frequent tasks are repetitive and time-consuming. You can set up the process. You can use recorder to record process actions. You can generate this process map, and you can analyze insights that you get. You can also leverage insights with the built-in automation recommendations to help begin automating. So from the video, you can get a taste of this experience, but we can have a full E2E demo later if you want. All right. So now process mining. So process mining is currently in preview, and it's different and complementary to task mining. So instead of recording your desktop, it leverages event log data that already exists in your system of record to produce this process map. So you have Dynamics, SAP, Salesforce. They are popular systems of record for process mining scenarios, but really you want to use any source that has event logs that capture your business process. So from a scenario perspective, it typically captures larger processes than task mining, kind of that span across, on different levels of organization, where you have maybe multiple people in different stages or multiple days. So common examples are procure to pay or order to cash process. If any of you has any experience with procure to pay or order to cash, give me a call, shout out. We would like to hear from you to see how are you currently using it or helping people automate it or optimize it. We will be interested to hear from you. So let's talk about capabilities of process mining now. So number one is we have intuitive interface that makes it easy to get started. And whenever you're a data expert or business user, process mining has an intuitive experience to guide you through easily onboarding your business data. And secondly, you can customize your insights by selecting attributes from your business data to serve as filters in the resulting process analytics. And finally, the process map and analytics help you glean insights into processes. We have custom filters that can provide a fast track to identifying bottlenecks and repetitive activities in our processes when improved that drive the highest impact. So Process Advisor also leverages technologies like Jared talked about, Dataverse, Power Query, and Power BI to help analyze and visualize your processes. So how does process mining work? Number one is you start by creating a process where events are logged in a system of records. So that's sometimes hard to find. So you want to maybe talk to an administrator or whoever's administrating the app that folks are using in your organization to help you find where these events are logged. Usually each app has some sort of logging for like troubleshooting and whatnot, but this is where you want to start. So number two is import your data. from your system of record from your organization using the embedded data flows. Again, that Jared already showed you, where you can select data source, map the required attributes, and select the custom attributes that are most relevant to your process. So you can analyze your process with a process map that outlines the steps, duration, frequency, to provide you with greater details behind your processes so you can glean insights. And finally, you can zoom in on where the key bottlenecks might exist in your process and start looking for ways to optimize your business. All right. Let's see, what else do we have? 5 easy steps to get started. So number 1, you create a process by just clicking on a wizard. Then you upload your data from your system of record. Number 3, you customize which of these columns from the data that you got you want to import and analyze. And finally, you can analyze the process map and time duration, variance, and all the details that we provide to get some new insights. So do we want to see one scenario, like a demo? Like a end-to-end demo that showcase a process advisor in this one specific finance business user scenario?
We love demos, Tanja.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Stephanie's a financial operations manager working for a large enterprise. And
does that work? The audio works?
Yes.
Yep.
Wants to understand where there are inefficiencies in the procure-to-pay process. She decides to try out process mining capabilities in Process Advisor. Once in Process Advisor, she's met with an intuitive first-run experience which helps her create a new process to analyze. She selects the new process mining capability, which is the data button, and then clicks Create to move to the next step in creating her process. Stephanie is able to select from a variety of data sources, all supported by Power Platform data flows to connect to her business data. In this case, she has her data in Excel, so selects Excel Workbook from the options. She then selects Upload File option and chooses her Excel workbook and confirms her connection details. Once her Excel workbook is loaded into Process Advisor, she can preview her data and make sure it's correct and nothing has been missed. Leveraging Power Query, the data transformation engine in data flows, she has the option to transform her data. She can filter out records she doesn't want to appear or rename values to be more intuitive using a variety of transformation options in Power Query. Or she can simply map the data to the process mining required fields. She can then select additional attributes to be used as custom filters in the analytics, so she can deep dive into the procure-to-pay process, for example, by region. Now that Stephanie has her data loaded in maps, she runs analysis and can see the process map in analytics. She looks at the top variant to see the most common path people are taking, to understand if there's any obvious areas for improvement. She sees on the map that the invoice review step is red. This signals that it's running slower overall. She can also see that her filters for region and other attributes are available for her to drill down further. Since she now knows that the invoice review step has been time-consuming, and from her experience that it's mostly manual and uses desktop applications, she decides to set up a task mining process. This will capture the desktop user interactions and activity so she can work with her colleagues to identify areas for optimization. After creating the process, she decides to kick off things by recording the invoice review process. It opens the Power Automate desktop, which is now built into Windows 11. She clicks record and goes through her workflow as usual. Once she's done, she would like to include some of her colleagues, so she adds them to the process so they can also record. This provides a variety of work styles and scenarios so she can get deeper and richer insights. Once everyone has completed their recordings and finished annotating the recordings to add the core groupings and activities, she runs the analysis to uncover insights about how they can best optimize this step. She sees that downloading the goods receipt and entering the invoice details seems to be causing the biggest slowdowns. She looks at the application analytics where she's able to see which applications they're spending most time in. All of these insights help Stephanie determine where to make change and where to optimize the process. She notices in the process map there are blue icons that indicate that there's a recommendation for her to build a cloud flow to automate portions of her process. She's taken directly to the Cloudflow Designer, where she sees hints and recommendations in the right pane. It shows her the process and the areas she can consider automating. She can quickly add a connector and configure it to start her flow. She even sees that for approving the invoice, she could use Teams, which has approvals app from Power Automate, to really make things easier. Now she's able to easily build the Cloudflow or hand off to an automation specialist. Now, Stephanie's group has built and deployed the new automation for North America first. So she wants to go back and see if she can see the impact on our overall procure-to-pay process before they move forward with their global deployment. She updates the data and goes to the analytics. She sees that the invoice review is still red. She selects from her custom filters and chooses North America from her region list. She sees there's a significant decrease from 20 days to 3 days. This is huge, resulting not only in reduced costs for the manual hours spent, but also a higher frequency of getting discounts. All in all, with Process Advisor, she was able to get the insights she needed to find the areas to optimize. And with the seamless integration with Power Automate, she was able to easily make the changes, optimizing the business and resulting in great value across the board.
That's our demo. Any questions?
Tanja, yes, we did have a question from Vinay. He said the demo video started with importing an Excel file. So I think he's asking how to generate the Excel file, and I believe Heather answered. She just dropped in a note on that question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so depending where your data is, you can use different data sources wherever your system of record is. For some, it's Excel. For some, is SAP and other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you really need in the Excel file is like a version history file, at what date, what activity took place. Is that what you're looking at?
Yes, so you need 3 necessary data points in order to make process mining work. Number 1 is a timestamp. So you need to, the event logs need to have some kind of timestamp to know when an activity was performed. Number 2 is name of the activity. So whatever you are analyzing through process mining, it has to have some kind of name. Like in our cases, it's a steps, such as, you know, some like, let's say purchase order to cash. You first make an invoice, then you adjust the invoice, send it, comes back, etc. So those are all activities. And finally, you need something that's called case ID, or any type of identification for a particular process. So one account payable process will have one ID. Another account payable process will have another case ID. So with those 3 necessary files, you can have unlimited custom columns added by which you can slice and dice your process.
Got it. Thanks.
So Harold, when he, you know, analyzes his, you know, his process of ticket submissions and whatnot, he can see where are the bottlenecks, where people, maybe he can analyze chatbot to see why is chatbot not deflecting tickets, so he has less work to do. He can go to the chatbot that was maybe not optimally created. It doesn't have all the optimal entries because he gets so many tickets every day. and analyze the data in the chatbot, see where people are dropping off from chatbot and opening tickets, and updates that chatbot so people actually get proper information without going to him and bugging him with so many tickets. How does that sound, Harold? Want to do
Sounds
that?
great. I'll have to contact you to figure out how to do it.
All right.
I like it.
Yeah, I like how, normally you don't, especially with long running business processes, you don't have like a very, if organizations don't have a very effective way of monitoring the performance or, overseeing what's happening.
Yeah.
This gives a great way to do it. And I just realized, like, it also enables you to, the results that you get out of this. It's also a way to capture and document how
Yep.
these tasks are carried out, right?
Yep.
Maybe there might be pieces where it provides you opportunities for improvement. Maybe that is not something that you can fully automate, but at least you have the documentation that you can use later on to design new ways for working or, overcoming the business issue there.
Yes. And I'm sure a lot of you already have some flows created, and I want to show you this in my flows. If you go to my flows, you can see flows. Let's see, let me show you some. Okay, this one's better. So if you open your flows, any flows that you are interested in analyzing, you can see this details page, and on the right side, you see here, improve your flow. This is actually using process mining. So you can just click on that and see how you can improve the flow. You get that map that I was showing you from Process Advisor that use the data from your flow to help you analyze. So each flow in this case, in this analysis is a single case ID. You can filter by flow versions to see if some version is performing better, some not. Oh, well, mine didn't work properly. I got some kind of error, but doesn't matter. It still shows you. It shows you like this. Actually, this one worked. Shows you some automatic insights, and you can go ahead. Well, this one's not from flow. This is actually a business example, but you can get same charts populated with your runs from your flows. You can see steps that are maybe bottlenecks, custom attributes. Here you could find errors or versions where you can dig down which flows are actually erroring and stuff like that. You can look at per time, and maybe your flow is increasing in complexity over time, or in through variance, like there's more and more variance or less and less variance of the flow. You can filter by specific attributes. So it's pretty current. In time analysis you have also. So everyone can, go ahead, check it out, check out the flow there of interest and see what it gives for them.
Yeah, I feel like this needs to be by default on your checklist to enable when you're migrating from one environment to another, especially for like production scenarios where you have some critical business processes that you want to measure success or even want to measure performance. I think this has to be like one of those items that you should have that enabled. Do you?
If it's like several people, who use this to analyze their flows, tell us, oh, I optimized my flow. I got rid of 5 actions that were that I realized I really don't need it because they were never executing. So that saves you cost, that saves, time,
Definitely.
makes flows more optimal. You should definitely check it out.
Does this require like a minimum number of flow runs in the history to be able to do this?
Yeah, I mean, with one flow, you would just get one variant, so that's not really interesting. So you want something that has as many runs as, maybe 20.
Yeah, over a
I
time
would say.
period.
Yeah, over time period. Yeah.
And is that also available for flows that you create in the Dataverse for Teams environment? That's
currently
yeah.
it's just here,
It's
right
just for
here in
the
Power Automate.
okay. I haven't checked it out, but I was curious to see if you can create apps and cloud flows in the Dataverse for Teams within the Teams environment, which generates a Dataverse environment specifically for that
Yeah,
Teams
doesn't that
channel.
live in the same? Does it live in the same place?
It's another. So it'll create a different environment called Dataverse for Teams. Yeah, maybe it might. Yeah, I'll probably have to try it out and see if it works.
So let me know what you see.
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks to everyone for taking the time out of their evenings to come join us, or whatever part of the world you are. Joining us and supporting the user group as always, really appreciate that. And here is the QR code for the group if we plan to meet monthly. And so if you would like to stay up to date on upcoming events and the recordings being published, feel free to scan this, join the group, or even follow the Twitter handle for the user group. We're always happy to see new faces or even familiar faces. And it's always good to have good conversations. And this is your opportunity to ask questions, collaborate with peers in the space. So we always welcome all skill sets. And thank you, Heather and Tanja. This was amazing. You can see how everybody's getting excited with the demo. And this has always been one of the most sought after topics. And I think that really helps for everyone to get motivated to try something new and play around with it. So really appreciate your time joining us today. And I think Jared dropped off, but I hope everybody found the quick tip on data flows integration with Dataverse helpful too. And hopefully you get to try something new in your organizations. And I look forward to seeing you all at the next meetup.